Hi, everybody. Hi, Diane. Yeah, well, I'm here. It's Thursday, and I'm on every Thursday at 7 o'clock, usually just to do chat videos. I sort of have a topic this evening because of something I heard from another YouTuber. Hi, Riri. Yeah, it made me think. By the way, does everybody have as much rain as I'm getting? It has been raining every day, all day, not just drizzling. I mean, it's been raining. I have not been able to start on my garden. Right before the rain, I weeded my garden. It was all ready. And Wednesday, Samantha came and actually we went shopping for some plants, even though it was raining. But I got just a couple plants, vegetable plants that I'm going to plant. I'm going to plant like one tomato plant in the grow bag, and then I'm going to plant one in the ground. Now I'm only going to plant two tomato plants because I get too much produce. And the same as the zucchini. I'm planting one zucchini in the grow bag and one in the ground. And probably the same with the cucumber. Believe it or not, we couldn't find any cucumber plants, at least where we were. I haven't been to Home Depot yet. They always have a big supply. I haven't been to Walmart's garden center yet either. Yeah, we've had rain. We've had so much rain that I finally went out and filled the bird feeders in the pouring rain because they had been empty for 2 days before the big rains. So I filled up the bird feeder. I filled up the suet feeders, and no birds all day long. I didn't see one bird. I was beginning to think they all drowned. But right around, I don't know, 5 o'clock, 5:30 this evening, I finally saw a sparrow and a chickadee. They were the first ones to come to the bird feeder. Then some more started to come, and even my Baltimore Oriole came to their feeder. But it's funny that they didn't come at all when it was raining so much. But they know now that I filled the bird feeders up. And hopefully they'll come for a snack because I don't know, maybe they thought they had to find food someplace else. Yeah. Yes, rain, rain, rain. It's very dreary and depressing, especially since I had planned on gardening all week. I planned really on getting the plants and then, tried the garden. I have my dirt. I have bags of dirt to make a certain soil for the grow bags. But it's sitting on my porch in the pouring rain. And I think I said this before, when the big thing of peat moss, it comes like in 2.2 cubic foot block. They're usually really light, the peat moss. Well, it was heavy as anything. So it was wet inside. So everything's wet. I can't lift it. I can't get it off the porch. My handyman, of course, didn't come because he knows we're going to do stuff outside in the garden. So he'll probably won't come this week. I don't see any let up on the rain. And yeah, it's like I said, it's depressing. Well, I always go to YouTube and just watch some people when I have been listing. I mean, I did get my listings up every day. I am drafting things, but and I've been selling some things, especially on Poshmark. I'm selling more on Poshmark this week than eBay. My little printer's been working, so yay. Hi, Bumblebee. Yeah, so I was watching, I think it was yesterday, I found this. I've been watching him for a while, and he's called What's Up Boomers. What's Up Boomer? He's 60 something. I think he's like 65, 67. But he has a YouTube channel. He hasn't had it that long. He's had it for, I don't even think, a year. And his big thing was trying to reach 500 subscribers. He didn't have 500 subscribers yet. And he was on his way to get 1,000 so he could get monetized. Well, he made a video a few days ago about having to go back to work. He had been a school teacher and had quit teaching and decided to go find a business on his own. And I think he bought into a business. He started his own business, and he sunk a lot of money into it. Most of his savings, it sounds like, and then it failed. And so he went back to work, and he went back to work at Home Depot, where it seems a lot of people that have part-time jobs. He's working part-time there, and he still is. Yeah, he says there's two age groups that work in Home Depot. There's the youngsters, up to about 35 or so. And then there's the old people like him, the retired people that come back and work at Home Depot. He likes his job. He thinks it's a great company, and he really enjoys what he's doing. He's still working part-time, I think. But he was talking about in between times, between quitting his, deciding he, maybe it was after he lost all his money. He had a heart attack, but he recovered fine. And even he says, even having the heart attack, he only got 1,000 views. But he would have about the number of views that I would have, all along. But after this video about Home Depot, it was his Plan B. I think it's called Plan B. But you ought to go watch him. It's called What's Up Boomers. And yeah, it went viral. He had 217,000 views. Yes, he's over his subscribers number now that he needed, for sure. He went from 500, I think, to 3,000 or maybe 5,000 subscribers. Yeah. So he can get monetized now. But he seems like such a nice guy, and He talks about different things, but it was very interesting about his job when he went to work at Home Depot. So you ought to go visit him. What's up, boomers? Yeah. And then I was thinking all this talk about boomers, and I didn't know what my generation was called, but I found out, of course, on Google, my generation is called the silent. I think it's the silent generation. I don't know. I didn't think I was so silent. But yeah, if you were born between 1925 and 1945, and I was born in 1942, you're in the silent generation. And they called it that because we were, what did they say? Our desire for conformity and stabilization, or stability. Conformity and stability. So I guess that's sort of true. But yeah, I don't think I was silent. I was always getting in trouble in school for talking. And when the kids are small and I was married the first time, I remember going around the neighborhood and passing out flyers about certain things. One was about the kill of the baby seals in Canada. Of course, it was an animal. I went around with brochures all about that. I don't know what people were supposed to do. I forget now, but yeah, about the killing of the baby seals. It was up in Canada. And then during the Vietnam War, I was in an organization called Another Mother for Peace. And I was sure I had already had my son, my first baby. And he was older. My kids were, youngsters then. And I was sure if my son ever got called to war, I would have to take him to Canada. When I met Jack, I remember he was a cop, of course. And I remember him saying, when I told him I was in another Mother for Peace, the first thing he says is, well, you're on the FBI list. Maybe I was. I don't know. I remember going around the neighborhood with flyers about that. I don't know. It just made me remember those things. More silent because of no social media, for sure. Yeah, we didn't. Oh, that didn't come for a long time. Yeah, it was in the 90s. I forget when it really started, but it was in the 90s when AOL, when I think I got our first computer, which was really a game thing. It was an Atari, but you could get, when they finally made it that you could get online. Yeah, that was in the 90s. And then shortly after that, I bought my first Mac, the very first Mac. And it was the first Macs, tiny little things. The first little box Macs, they were about this tall and about this wide, real fat. They were in black and white. Black and white. Yeah. I've seen those Macs online that people have saved them. Of course, I don't know if they're worth anything now, but I saw one person, they gutted it and they made a they made a fish tank out of it that you could see fish through the screen. Uh, but I had every Mac after that. If they'd come out with a new one, we'd get a new one, a bigger and better and more memory. The first time I can remember, the first time it was a big deal. They went up to 4 megabytes, 4 megabytes of memory. That was a big thing. Boy, we've come a long way, baby. Bryland Farm, hi. Yeah, computer probes, so may not talk much on the chat. Text. Oh, that's always fun, isn't it? Yeah, so here I am, the silent majority. Well, I got some more flat. I wrote on this one, but Jaden had a deal with some more of these flat labels. Here's the rolled ones. Here's what they do. See, they stay rolled. The flat ones stay flat. However, these Jaden ones, yeah, they were inexpensive and they're very thin. I just hope they stick. They seem to have good, they seem to be sticky, but they're very much, they're half as thick as this one. And this isn't even a brand name, but it's the one I used all the time before, which I have plenty of these. So when I was listening to this guy, and I can't for the life of me think of his name, I thought for a minute it was Jack, but then I'm not sure about that, so I don't want to say that. But yeah. And of all things, I think he taught like junior high age, maybe 8th, 9th grade, something like that. Maybe high school. That would be tough. But yeah, he seems like the kind of guy that would be, they put him on he's working at the desk where you go with your problems. Customer service. Yeah. And he likes it there. He gets to do other things too, but yeah, there's a lot of nice people working at Home Depot. I know a couple other YouTubers work at Home Depot, and the carpenter, I may be remembering this wrong. The carpenter that did my kitchen a long time ago, like 12 years ago, he would once in a while work at Home Depot. I don't know. Maybe he worked there to get that he could get a break off on supplies. I'm not sure. And maybe I'm remembering that wrong altogether. My memory is shot. Talking about things that are shot, my eyesight is horrible. And I did make an appointment today. It's next Friday to get another eye exam. And my cat is just here and will not shut up. It's not 8 o'clock yet, honey bunch. I won't forget you. she's back to eating and wanting to eat all the time. So I guess that's good. uh, so the thing that he said on this video, he mentions that after he was retired, before he got this job, he was retired for a while. And what he noticed a lot was he wasn't really getting any socialization. And it was starting to take a toll. And I've been thinking about that too. I've never minded being alone for years. I mean, my husband died 20 years ago. I never minded living up by myself. I never minded, doing things on my own. I don't have a lot of friends. You're the most friends I have online. I've never had a lot of close friends. I would usually have one friend at a time, or maybe two. And that's back when I was working as a nurse. Now, as a nurse, I had a lot of socialization. Yeah, that wasn't an issue, of course, but even when I had horses, I socialized more. I mean, because you'd go to the bar and there was people there. My daughter and I hung out together a lot because we had horses. But now, no. Judy has moved, my one friend. Judy has moved, she's not real close anymore. She's over, I don't know, it'd probably take a half hour or more to get there. I could make the effort, but I just don't. It's just, I don't know. It's my fault, for sure. I just don't make the effort. But I notice when I do go out and I usually wait to go out, especially to shop for groceries. I wait for Samantha to come because I am unsteady on my feet and it helps to have somebody next to me and helps to have somebody load my groceries and all that stuff. But she seems to enjoy it. She seems to like these every other week trips that we take. And yeah, I notice that when I go out, I enjoy seeing people. I, you know, I've stood and talked to the cashier many a time, more than I would before. And I think it's just that I enjoy the interaction. I do that more when Samantha isn't with me. Yeah, I make sure there's nobody behind me. But yeah, it just I've really noticed that. Now my sister, her son lives with her, and she's just a couple doors from her daughter, so she doesn't have the same issue. But yeah, Renee, you remember taking a computer class in 1984? Wow. Yeah, I don't. It wasn't then, because I think my first computer it wasn't in that house, so it must have been after I got divorced the first time. After my first husband. Yeah, it was after I met Jack that we got the first computer. because I don't remember. We didn't have one in the house when the kids were little. There was no computers back then. So yeah. Well, my kids were born in the 60s, so I'm sure you you were ahead of the game getting onto the computer in 84. That is good. The class was offered at our vocational school, and it was new. Yeah, yeah. They must have suspected it was going to turn out to be something big. Hmm. I can't even remember. I don't remember dates at all. I remember it, my kids were born. I don't remember when I got divorced. I don't remember moving out of the dates of moving out of the house and moving into an apartment. Didn't have computers then, but I do remember having that first Atari, and it was the house on Brandywine in Parma Heights, because I can see it right there in that room. You were born in 68, so you are a boomer, right? I think so. I don't know what the dates go for the boomers. Room 333. My husband left me about 5 years ago. Then my son, that was living with me, moved out to be with his girlfriend in Connecticut. Then I had to put my last dog down. I'm sorry. The struggle is real being by yourself. Rome, I don't think I've ever seen you here. Well, welcome. I'm glad you're here. Yes, I've been alone for 20 years. Ah, it is hard. Certain things are hard being by yourself, especially when I've become weaker and I'm unable to do as much. It didn't seem to bother me except for the being lonely for a while. But you sort of get over that. And I always needed a handyman. My husband was not a handyman. Let me just say that. But he knew people. Cops and firemen, they always know people that do different things. So if something around the house needed fixed, he knew somebody that could come and fix it. You're new. Well, welcome. I'm glad you're here. We're here every Thursday evening at 7 Eastern Time. And I'm from Ohio, Northeast Ohio. We have people from all over visit, even some from Australia and where is it, Norway and Britain and all over the United States. They aren't here every week, but they come and visit. Yeah. An inspiration. You're turning 65 in August and do eBay part-time. Well, yes, me too. Well, I'm not 65. I'm a little older, 83. Bumblebee wants to know if you're Italian because she's Italian. Ah, Because of your name, I guess. They're having me log out. May lose you for good. Okay. Well, I hope everything goes well, Brylan, with your computer. Yeah. I was going to, you can hook up for a better, I know the sound on this, actually, the picture, the camera on this laptop isn't the best. The camera on your phone is better. However, I would have to upgrade the system on my laptop in order for it to do that, for me to hook my phone to the laptop. And I'm afraid to do that for fear it screws everything up. And this is the only computer at the moment I have. And then what would I do? I mean, I have an eBay business, even though it's part time. And my YouTube people, my kitty, always have a dog and a cat. My dog went upstairs. I told her to get in her bed. What I meant was this one over here, and she went upstairs to get in my bed, I guess. Picture's fine. You can take your granddaughter to gymnastics. My granddaughter was in gymnastics for a long time. Oh, you're in California. Okay, good. I'm going to put you on the list. I have a list of people where everybody is from. So you're from California. You can be added to the list there. Come back again. Room 333. It's from California. Kitty. At least, is the sound okay? I don't have the fish tank sound, do I? That only happened once. I don't know what the heck that was. Oh, you're married to it. Yeah. Well, I know your name is Italian. Oh, but you're not Italian. Huh, okay. Okay, good. The sound is good because that really bothered me. When the audio is bad, that's even worse than the video being bad. I was going to do garden videos this week. And yeah, that didn't come to fruition because I would have drowned. At least I have a boat in my yard. My son's boat is out there in the back, parked. So if it rains much more, I'll just go get in the boat. Heaven knows what's living in there. It's a big boat with a cabin on it, and it's all covered, of course. It has a cover made for it. But, little things can get in there. I kept telling him that, and he kept saying, oh, no, they won't get through that cover. Oh, yes, they can. I hate to tell them. Nothing has chewed in it because I've looked, but they can still get in. Cold and rainy in southern Ohio. I know. Somebody from Kentucky was saying that they had it, down there too. You ready for some hot days and sunshine? Me too. I want it to be 75 and sunny, and I want to. This is the latest I've started my garden. It's going to be June pretty soon. I always have it in right after May 15th because that's the last of our frost dates here. Debbie, hi. You just got home. Donna's here. Yeah, well, that's what happened to the garden videos, Donna, because it's been pouring here every single day. I don't know what my lawn guy, the guy that cuts my grass, I don't know how he's going to do it. My grass on the one side where I used to have gardens, it has to be a foot high. It's like a field. I don't want him to break his machine. I don't know how he's going to chop that down. He'll have to use his weed whacker to get it down so he can use the mower. You haven't planted a single flower either. I know. Well, the plants are outside. They're getting watered in the pots that I bought them in. You had severe weather for several days in Tennessee, and the last 2 days have been picture perfect sunny and 80. Oh, Tennessee. Mm. Well, it all came up here. It must have come in a swath right up through Ohio. And it's been, if you look on the map on my phone, you can see the map on the weather, and it's all green, which means it's raining. Yeah, I am ready for sun and warm weather for sure. You know, I had to put my long underwear back on. I thought I was done with that. And then I have this fleece jacket thing on because I can't stand to be cold. My furnace is running. Complaints, complaints, complaints. But anyway, I was going to talk, we were talking about socialization. I don't know if nobody's as old as me, but, and I should have asked Rome before she left if she has trouble. See, she's taking her granddaughter here and there, and she probably has her kids closer. My kids are over half hour to 45 minutes away. They don't come out here very often. They're all busy, especially now my daughter has a full-time factory job. She's just tired. She uses her 2 days off to get things done at her house. She has a house. She has a house with a big yard and lots of gardens. She has to get, fixed up because it takes a lot of maintenance. And my son's back to work. He's in construction. He's about to retire pretty soon. He's in construction. He's working sort of part-time, sort of full-time. And when he's not working, if it's nice at all, he's at the golf course. That's all he thinks about in the summertime is golf. Oh, now I got the hiccups. Golfing and sports. Mm. Yeah. Yeah, I wish that would have come up here. But I'm anxious to get things into the grow bags to get them started. And then I can't do anything with the dirt. It's on my back deck. I'll have to open it there because I can't move it. It's too heavy. Very cool in St. Louis. Tornadoes hit our city a few days ago. Were you in that? Yeah, they hit a lot of places. Bad tornadoes. And then I just read where it's supposed to be another bad hurricane year coming up too, later on, when the hurricanes start. This weather. Debbie says, Shirley, if I was closer, I would come pick you up to get you out of the house. Aw, thank you. Yeah, I don't like to drive very much. So I'll go into town. I don't mind driving. That's just 7 miles to town, 7 miles back. I do go once in a while. If I sit and think about going, like I need to go to Target, I need to go to the CVS and Target because I have a prescription ready. So I'll probably go there in the next few days. But if I sit and think about it enough, I make enough excuses in my head that I can do it the next day, or why I don't want to go that day. I don't want to become agoraphobic, for sure. I think that's how it would start. You know, you're sort of afraid to go out. Once I get going, once I get in the car and get going, I'm okay. I just have to be careful when I'm walking by myself because my balance is all messed up. Sometimes I take my walking stick or a cane, and sometimes I just forget it. Once I'm in the store and have a basket, I'm good. It's just having a little something to hang on to. But I do feel the problem of not being around people a lot. So I think this socialization thing is for real. I think it has to do with your mental health and maybe even how you feel physically. I think being around people is more important than I ever thought it was. Because I was always around people before. So I should really try my darndest to get in the car and go. That week and a half that I had to actually go to the post office when my computer died and I didn't have a printer. When I had to go to the post office every single day with my packages, my eBay and Poshmark packages, yeah, I enjoyed seeing the people in the post office. Now that tells you something. I go to church. I haven't gone to church as much as I was going because now this is probably not good. I should go there for the socialization. I go to Cornerstone Chapel. There's one on YouTube, Cornerstone Chapel. It's in Virginia. And I learned so much more from that pastor, Pastor Gary Hambrick. Gary Hambrick. He is such a great Bible teacher that every Sunday I look forward to watching him in Virginia. But I'm not, you're right. If I'd go to church, I'd at least, uh, my preacher, my pastor does not teach, well, it's all from the Bible. He teaches by topic. They pick a topic and they maybe go on a topic like for a month or so, but it's not going through the Bible, verse by verse, chapter by chapter to learn the Bible. And that's what I like. That's what I feel is very beneficial for me because I am into reading the Bible every day and by reading the Bible through every year. And it's I learned so much from the preacher in Tennessee. And then he also has a Wednesday night teaching too. So I listen to both of those. And I just have sort of stopped going to my church as much. Now, I just read about a church that's even closer to me, another evangelical church that has a much bigger congregation. I never even knew it was there because I don't go past that ever. And I've thought about going there and seeing how that one is. See, when I used to go to my church, Cornerstone, back when my husband was alive, I used to go there, and we had another pastor, Pastor Jeff. Well, he retired, and yeah, and one of the assistant pastors took over, who's a very nice guy, but he just doesn't teach the way, the first pastor that I went through my whole thing with my husband's death and everything with, and I don't know. I'm just telling you excuses, but yeah, as far as the socialization, I could go right to a real church. I could still listen to the church in uh, Virginia. I mean, it's on YouTube. Yeah, but maybe when the better weather, for sure I didn't go in the winter in the bad weather. There you are. There you are. Were you on mommy's bed? Hmm? Yeah. You already ate. You want to come up here and say hi? Come on. You want to come up here? Yeah, there you are. There is Penny. Look over here. Look up there and say hi. Yeah, it's Penny. Look at, there's us. There's us. Oh. Or do you see a bunny outside? You're not going out and chase the bunny. She just has a fit. If she looks out and sees those rabbits in the yard, she just wants to go out and chase the bunnies. So I have to make sure the bunnies are in the yard. My chicken yard, the extension of their smaller run, the bigger area, is so green. Everything's growing, even the scratch that I throw out for them in the morning, that's growing. What they don't eat. So they have lots of grass and stuff in there besides all the bushes that are doing very well. They're weeds, but evidently they're not weeds that they eat. I did learn something about that common burdock. That's the plant with the huge leaves, and it sends up that stalk with the sticky burrs on it, the brown burrs that get all over your clothes. That's edible, not the burrs. I mean, the leaves and the roots. So I'm going to start throwing, when I dig those up, I'm going to start throwing them into the chickens and see if they'll eat them. Your cat brought in a live bunny. Oh dear. Was it hurt bad? Yeah, I don't want my dog to be doing that. That must be a pretty big cat to bring a live bunny in. Was it a tiny bunny? You're able to rescue it. Oh, good. Yeah. I have a little brown garden. Uh, it's not in the middle of my lawn in the back, but it's sort of, it's surrounded by grass. And the dog was rooting around in there, and I was so afraid that maybe there was a bunny's nest in there because the season. And I made her get away, and I went out there and really rooted through there, and there wasn't anything. Yeah, it was a tiny bunny, a baby. Oh, your chickens eat the burdock? They eat the leaves. Yeah, the root is actually edible too. It's medicinal, both the leaves and the root. The root. Yeah. Yeah, so I try to keep the dog away from killing anything that she did. I think I said last time she did catch a chipmunk, but I think it bit her and she threw it up in the air and it ran off. She's just into stalking. She points and stalks and creeps. That's her thing. uh, yeah, my dog's a chicken killer though. She's gotten two of my chickens. I used to have five and now I have three. That was bad, very bad on my part to let that happen. She's a bird dog. I can't, you know. Yeah, it's too late to train her now, I believe. Uh, I saw somebody on, I watched somebody on YouTube though that said that she had gotten two rescue dogs and they weren't puppies. They were, regular, I don't know how old they were, but she trained them, and one was an Australian Shepherd, and she trained them both to stay away from her chickens. She says it takes a while, but she had them trained because they were out amongst her chickens and they were just laying and watching them, and they weren't, you know, going after them at all. She said any dog, no matter what it is, can be trained, uh, chicken trained. Oh, your cat brought in a lizard? I'm waiting for the first time my cat or my dog tries to get a toad, because I know every one of my dogs have tried, and that's not a good result then, because they squirt out this whatever it is. It's like it burns their mouth really bad, and they get rid of that toad as fast as they can. So it's a defense mechanism that toads have. Oh, and it was alive also. She's bringing you presents, Renee. Cats will do that. My cat will leave. She doesn't like if she gets a mouse uh, that I can't rescue. If she gets a mouse, usually she'll leave it at the back door, or she will leave it in the kitchen or in the dining room, wherever she gets it at. But she doesn't. Usually, she doesn't ever eat it, because the fun part for cats, I think, is the mouse trying to get away and running, and her playing, chase with it. I think after that, it, my cat doesn't isn't interested anymore. You caught it in a small trash can and rescued it. I've rescued little mice um, out of a trash can too in the garage. I heard it racing around. It couldn't get out of the trash can because it was way too high. And yeah, the dog was very interested in all the noise that was going on in the trash can. And I did. I reached down there and got it. Uh, because these mice, they want the chicken food and the chicken scratch too. So they're out in the garage. And I'm sure the chipmunk, well, I'm keeping my car outside now. I don't know if I have to go get that done. I have to pay and get the nuts taken out of my fan, because and that was when it was in the garage. So then I thought, well, I'm just not going to keep doing this. It's summer. I can, go without the fan on, but when it gets to be 90 and I can't have the air on, that's going to be a problem. I can open the windows at least. But in the winter, I have to go through one more winter with this car. And I'll have to have it working, because you can't defrost your windows without the fan. I'll be there. Don't worry. You're not going to starve. See, it's 8 o'clock. It is time for my cat to eat and get her insulin. I don't know how these animals can tell time, but my dog knows exactly when it's 5 o'clock, and this cat knows when it's about to be 8. Oh, they have us trained very well. Yes, she is. She's hungry, and she's very mouthy about it. She just won't stop. So I'm going to have to close. Thank you all for coming. And one of these days, it'll stop raining and dry out a little bit so I can get gardening. I'm really looking forward to it this year. I know, you poor thing. So I will see you Sunday to show you what I sold all week. Sunday at 4 o'clock, right here, same place. And thank you all for coming. Good night, everybody. Have a good night.